This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, we go. All right, here we go. So today we're going to talk about masculinity. I know, the word that nobody wants to hear. We're going to talk
episode.
It is. We're going to talk specifically about modern masculinity and really what it means, what it is to be a man, to be masculine.
Question mark.
In 2000,
what does it mean?
XX 2019.
Oh yeah, 19.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I know.
Still getting used to that.
I know. Yeah, I think if you look at the last, I mean, at least decade, there's definitely been a shift in the way that we look at what it means to be a man. Mm-hmm. You know, what it means to be masculine, and you know, it's that idea that of maybe what your grandpa was. That you know, don't share your feelings. You're tough. You work on mechanical things. I don't know. You eat real tough beef jerky. I don't know.
Yep.
Is that a thing?
Yep.
Is that a masculine thing?
Yep. Man, eat beef jerky and
I wish we had
mix.
beef jerky here. Just side note.
Oh yeah, we need like a bowl of beef jerky.
Wouldn't people listening just love that? Just the sound of just tearing into some beef jerky.
That would be a weird sound to like. What are they doing?
Yeah, right. Oh, that would be horrible. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, please. So I think, this is such a weird thing that I've been trying to like wrap my head around a little bit too, because it's like it's such a masculinity. Like I don't even think. Yeah, I can't even talk about it for some reason.
I feel like it's a weird thing. Partially, it's a weird thing. Like I know for me, it's a weird thing because my work, my business revolves around a piece of that. It's about fashion, style, lifestyle for bigger men. It was at least what it started out as.
Not technically masculine things.
When it started out, it was very, right. It was very
stereotypical.
Totally. It was very specifically, it's a fashion site for big men. It's a style site for big men. But as it went along really quickly, I learned that that idea of what is masculine and who is interested in that and what that means is not what I was taught when I was growing up. You know, it's not what you've been told. Yeah. And you start to meet different people and you start to hear different stories and you see that isn't at all. It's not what that stereotypical idea
stereotype of the truck driving,
right?
Whatever construction worker guy,
John Wayne.
Right. Yeah, it's like all these like images when you just even say masculinity, like these images that are bombarded or put upon us that we're supposed to be reflecting, you know, like this is who we're supposed to be. And this, like even just thinking about the representation of what it is to be a man, like thinking about all these different people or like people in power, like these are who we're supposed to be looking up to. And oh geez. Yeah. It's so complicated.
It is. It feels like masculinity is so much less important than maybe it was in culture, at least, and like it's, and it should be because it's obviously
this thing it's like masculinity or like
the idea of
manliness or gender roles, those kind of weird, like those weird things.
That's it. It's manliness.
Yeah.
And I think within that though, it's hard sometimes, at least for me, just kind of navigating this, it's difficult to sometimes try and separate like the manliness from the masculinity and be able to show that those are two different things and to talk about those things. And I feel like sometimes when you spend your life writing about, why aren't big guys should have the same kind of options as everybody else when it comes to fashion?
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to say, but it's a thing. There's a need there. And it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to feel like you're justified in being able to complain or ask for a thing because you're a guy. So,
well, yeah. And those are those social norms that are being put on you that make you feel less than or bad about asking for help. You know,
right.
like that's not a stereotypical manly thing is you don't ask for directions
right.
or whatever.
And part of it is
stuff.
It's separating this idea of manliness from masculinity, I guess.
Yeah, I have never, I mean, I grew up in a very female dominated environment, like my mom's and aunts and family, family friends or whatever. So but I never felt like I wasn't masculine right. or whatever. Like I don't,
but it doesn't feel like it mattered. Like, I don't know. For me, it felt like it didn't matter as much to me as it did to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I'd look
I don't know how to do, I mean, I know how to like change a tire and maybe on older cars, change the oil.
Right.
But other than that, I don't know how to take an engine apart I don't know how to do that.
Like as a kid, I was never into sports.
No,
I've never been into sports. I've never been like into that kind of manly stuff, gun shooting.
Yeah, the sports thing was a little weird when I was growing up. I grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, you're the big guy. Why aren't you on the football team?
Always,
why aren't you doing? I'm like, because I did it 1 year and I didn't like it.
So did I. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I was pushed into doing it and I was like, okay, I'll do it. It was my freshman year of high school and I did a semester and it was just like, it was the worst.
Yeah.
I hated it. It wasn't something that was at all what I wanted. And
I was in band and choir. I was a band and choir nerd. So I was happy with that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right.
But I played a trombone. That's manly enough, right?
It is.
Right.
Of course.
Jesus. And I didn't even get to choose that.
Yeah.
I was a big guy there. And, because I used to play the cello when I was in elementary school.
Sure.
So I knew the bass clef. So they're like, here, you can play the trombone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
I was, played in jazz band, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the sports, I was never interested in any of that. I mean, I went because I played in pep band, but that was about it.
I feel like a lot of that is changing, though. A lot of it is changing just as we get smarter about what gender roles mean and what people can and can't like and do and don't like. Mm-hmm. And you see it in different ways from, for example, when you're looking at like, I don't know, sports. Look at NASCAR, which is something that I don't follow a ton of, I don't understand it. Yeah. But, I have family members that are all about it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even with that, it started out as this real good old boy kind of thing. And they're even trying to kind of change their image and focus on, drivers of different ethnicities, people of different genders, the people, they're being more open to bringing in people who might not be aware of what it is. And they're trying to be more accommodating to that. Yeah. And I mean, that's where everything has to go, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can have these closed groups the way that they have been because our culture is really obviously pushing back against that.
Yeah, strict rules on anything is you're going to have pushback on.
Right.
Like I do laundry, I clean, but I also know how to like fix a toilet or replace a light switch or
Right.
Like growing up, we built our garage and like I don't know.
Yeah, there's not like one thing that it's not like any of this stuff is strictly for one gender. There's somebody on Instagram, I can't remember her name, but she works on cars all day and that's like her thing. And I always see those pictures and it's cool to see things like that and see representation in different ways. And I think it's obviously something we're going to see more and more of, I think. Since I started doing my thing to now, you just see that there's been such a change.
Mm-hmm. Even with our underwear, it's like it is like it was or is designed for a male body, but we have a lot of different bodied people wearing our product. And that makes me really happy that people are really enjoying our product so much that they're wearing it. And it's just like, but I never even, when we started, I didn't even think of it at first. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, why did I not even think of that?
And it really takes those people who reach out and they're like, hey, I'm looking for this thing. And I am probably not your target audience, but This is what I'm looking for. Yeah. And then you start to think about it.
Oh my God. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And then start thinking, and then,
It has definitely changed the way that when I think about how we write things for Chubster, or how we talk about people or clothing, or, as opposed to just saying, it's style for big and tall men. It's, fashion lifestyle for people of size, or, masculine clothing for bigger bodies, whatever. Right. You talk about these things in different ways, and I use it all interchangeably. And I do still use men's clothing sometimes because that is included there. I think it runs that spectrum, and I think it is. I don't think it's wrong to be able to use that. Being
inclusive of all the people that want to wear your stuff or that are interested in what you're writing about. I think you should include them. Yeah, and that does come down a lot to language, the way that we talk about other people, and I think that's totally understandable, and we should be doing that and being more conscious of the words that we're using.
So much of it is just is that it's just being aware of other people and thinking about people who aren't necessarily like you, and being aware of those people and being, just taking them into consideration as you move along this earth. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yes. I think on our whatever masculinity topics, we need to talk about this beer that we're going to have.
Beer is for everyone.
Beer
folks.
is for the masses.
Yep.
This one is called Cold Smoke Scotch Ale.
Nice.
From Kettle House Brewing in Missoula, Montana.
Missoula. Woo-hoo. Represent.
My partner was on another road trip recently-ish, and stopped at a few different places along the way and picked us up some fun stuff. So let's give this one a try. I don't know. It's got a whole long story on the back that I don't want to read. But
every time that you talk about Bjorn being on like a road trip or whatever, I just imagine like Weekend at Bernie's or just like some kind of crazy adventure happening.
That, yeah,
like something where I don't know, like a road trip kind of movie where just like shenanigans and all hell breaks loose.
Lots of shenanigans with Bjorn on road trips.
Lots of jerky.
Oh, yes.
Jerky.
Lots of beef jerky.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
he's a man.
I don't know if anyone heard that. He eats lots of beef jerky because he's a man.
That's right.
Oh, man.
That's right.
He's a real man.
Oh, wow.
He does actually. Only on road trips, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat it any other time. Anyways, back to this beer.
Oh, this is good.
What was this? Scotch ale.
Yeah, it's Cold Smoke Scotch Ale.
I gotta look it up on Untappd here. What does this say?
Get a load of that mouthfeel.
I don't like that description.
It is bad.
Smooth, dark, malty, sweet coffee. Is there a coffee flavor?
Smooth, dark, definitely malty. A little bit of sweetness.
It's very dark, yeah. I like that one. That one's good. Oh, check in on your Untappd app, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Check out our list of all the beers. You can follow us on Untappd if you're not already doing so.
I like this a lot. I was wondering if it was going to actually be like a smoked beer because it's called Cold Smoke. Have you tried a smoked beer before? Like where it's smoked, like smoky. Like there are beers
put in a barrel.
Like smoked cheese. They can do that with beers.
I don't know what.
And it is like you drink it and you definitely want like cheese.
Cold smoke is a ski term.
Is it?
It's a ski term.
I don't ski, so that explains it.
I can't write this on the board. It's when you're skiing and the snow flies up into your face, and then it looks like you're smoking behind you.
That sounds.
That's why the picture on the thing too.
Okay, that's what that is. All right.
You should reiterate what I just said, just in case.
Okay.
He said something about when you're skiing. And the snow
flies up in your face like cold smoke.
Like cold smoke.
And so on the can, don't know what that means. There's an illustration of a poor bastard who is getting eaten up by the snow here, and it does look like smoke.
Okay. It looks like it's smoking behind you.
Oh, okay.
It was the last time that they saw Fred was on the slopes. Not poor. Oh, lucky. Oh, that lucky.
That's what you want.
It is? Oh, okay. All right.
It's a good thing.
So this is a good...
Oh.
Apparently we need to go skiing. All right.
I've only been skiing once.
I have never.
And you didn't get any cold smoke on the bunny hill.
No. Well.
Wow, we got a. What is this? Like a gallery over here?
I know.
The old men in the balcony over there, cat calling us from the booth.
We need to go skiing. We still this year we've got to take this podcast on location or out.
Go up on the mountain.
Oh, there we go.
On the chairlift.
Let's see how they mic us for that.
Yeah.
It can be done.
I do like this cold smoke.
Me too.
Quiet in the gallery.
All right. Back to serious business.
Masculinity and gender roles. Be quiet over there, you men.
I don't know that I mean, I feel like a lot of it is just it doesn't matter, and it's.
I don't like the roles, and you're supposed to be doing that.
So,
and I'm obviously it's a little weird for my relationship since I'm in a same-sex relationship. Who's supposed to? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that. My partner Bjorn.
Oh yes.
Remember that part?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we both do whatever, like laundry, cleaning, cooking, fixing stuff.
Do you ever get like weird questions from straight people who are clueless about?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
not as much anymore, but I guess we don't really. I don't know. I guess the folks we hang out with aren't clueless. Yeah. So
right. Number one, it's like who would ask? Like who's gonna come out and be like, all right, so here's the question.
Who's the woman in your relationship?
Oh God.
Yeah, that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
Not me. God. Yeah. No. It does come up though. It's quite weird. Amazing. The
people
can just come up and ask you really insulting questions.
Yeah.
You're like
people.
Oh, people.
You never know.
But yeah, so it is something that is a little different to navigate in a relationship because you know, there are those social norms of like, oh, you're supposed to have, you know, the white picket fence and the 2.5 kids or whatever.
It has to be this way, a relationship.
Way or no way. And it's like, no, you figure it out for yourself. And
that's so much of this whole idea of this traditional air quotes that I'm not going to do traditional idea of what masculinity is, that it's this kind of like bullshit notion that's been around for a long time. Yeah. That this is what it is. And maybe a long time ago, that's what it was because there were no other options and people weren't allowed to be themselves or step away from that.
Yeah.
And that's not the way that it is today. And
you can be who you want to be.
You can. It also, a lot of it does depend on where you're at. I mean, we're talking about all this from Portland, Oregon. Now, if we were, I don't know. I mean, I lived in Southwest Missouri, deep in Southwest Missouri, or just east a little ways,
east of Portland a ways,
where it is a lot more traditional, and those things are there. And I really felt like when I lived in Missouri, there was definitely living in a small town in Missouri. Now, where I grew up, it was different. St. Louis, it was a lot more open. But living in a small town in Missouri, it was a lot more closed-minded, and it was a lot more there is one way to be a man, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think you get more of that when you're in places like that. And I mean, I'm obviously generalizing because there are definitely pockets of that not being the case.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you still have to be conscious of aware of your surroundings and all that kind of stuff. But I still think in general, you need to be who you are.
Totally.
And, I mean, I guess I wasn't even going that far with my original thoughts about this episode, but yeah, I mean, just being who you are and figuring out what masculinity or manly, what that means. Right. I think that's a lot. I mean, being respectful and being whatever golden rule, treating people the way you want to be treated. And knowing that kind of stuff is more manly, and
knowing that someone else's life choices or gender choices or the way that they decide to live their life doesn't affect you, and it doesn't make you any less. It makes no difference to who you are. that's really what it comes down
Yeah.
to, you know?
Yeah. I don't like the like,
No reason to be threatened or afraid.
yeah. There's this, you know, there's a lot of terms about like masculinity or femininity, masc femme, all that kind of stuff. I think it's like, I don't even know how I specifically identify, because I feel like it's a spectrum and it depends on the day or whatever. Like,
Right.
I'm kind of, like I said, a spectrum of masculine, feminine, whatever, back and forth, depending on what instance or whatever. So I don't.
And why do you have to
Yeah.
give it a name?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's number one, I don't feel like it's really, I don't know.
And how do you feel? I mean, I don't know if this is whatever, but how do you feel about that? Like raising a son and raising kids, raising a son and a daughter. Like, how does that come into like
that's a really good question.
Weird things that they ask you about, like, oh, why are you whatever, you know, why aren't you at work providing or whatever, something,
Right.
you know,
Oh yeah, totally. Why is daddy home all day?
Why is dad home all day or whatever, you know, like,
you know, as far as with kids, it does add an entirely different dynamic to it. Luckily, we made the decision to leave where we lived before and move to the West Coast, and now we're here where it's a lot more open, and you see a lot of different family types.
Mm-hmm.
You see kids. They have friends that are at the age where they're choosing their gender. And I mean, our kids are 6 and 8. Yeah. So, you know, where they are consciously deciding who they are and what they want to be. And so they are around people who are different from them, and they're realizing that that's okay. Good. And we practice that in the house all the time. It's like, you know, we want you to know that you can be whatever you want to be. And you know, the important thing is that you're happy. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do these things that have been set down by tradition. Those things that you might be hearing on YouTube, which we always try to lock down, but they figure out ways around it.
Well, kids are smart.
Always. But those things they're not, that's not what you live by. That's not what we practice, and it's not what we believe in our house. So, and we also do that with our daughter, is that it's not, you know, we try hard to not be I say,
limiting her.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Oh, that's not what girls do. Or
right.
Whatever. And I'm like, what? I don't get that.
We leave options
you can play
open
with dolls. Like, who cares?
You leave the options open for them, and you let them make their decisions, and hopefully you can lead them, and you lead them forward and teach them to be good people. And if you do that, then I feel like you're doing the best that you can, because that in itself is hard enough.
Exactly. Yeah. So, that's good. Well, thank you for doing that for your children and for the rest of us in the world.
I feel like this was a tricky one for us to navigate through. I'm don't say the wrong thing and make it sound like you're, you know,
close-minded.
Yeah, right. It's hard to talk about it, but these kind of things are important to talk about.
And everyone should be talking about them in a respectful way and open to other people's opinions. You don't have to always agree, but you need to have open, respectful conversations about all these hard topics. I think we all need to start doing that.
I agree.
All right. Well, I'm going to finish this last bit of beer, and I think this was a good episode.
It was.
I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
All right, guys and gals and everyone in between, share our episode with a friend of yours that needs to learn a little bit about gender roles or the lack thereof, or what we think about them.
Or if they just want to chuckle, they need
they need to chuckle about what we think about the world.
We got a lot of episodes here, so start them off easy, work their way up.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.